Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last session, we talked about basics of HTML5. We saw how can we create an HTML markup page to be able to display a static web content. Towards the end of the class, I gave an exercise. Thanks for overwhelming response on the exercise. Many of you have completed that and I think it was very simple one. I've checked all of your solutions. Some of you have replied, some of you I could not because of lack of time. But I have checked each of your solutions and it all looks good. With that, I've received two questions over the email from Ramana regarding Rajshekharan actually from regarding HTML5. The first question is there any pretty printer option like in ABAP? Yes, Raj, there is one. You can go back and now here you can see this is our HTML. Let me just destroy the look and feel of this. And now you can select everything, right click and say beautify. This option doesn't come for HTML in the web IDE for HTML pages, but it do come in Eclipse. In Eclipse, if you are using, you can use Control plus Shift plus F. That is the shortcut you have in Eclipse to be able to format it. When it comes to SAP Web IDE for HTML pages, we do not have any formatting option currently available. Okay, that's the answer of your first question. If you're using Eclipse, this is the shortcut. If you're using Web IDE, right now you have to manually do it. The second question, can we debug an HTML page? Can we check syntax? So please tell me, is this a programming language? Is HTML a programming language? Anybody? Is HTML a programming language? Is HTML a programming language? Is HTML a programming language? No, which means you cannot debug, neither you can do syntax check. Clear everyone? You cannot debug nor you can do the syntax check. It's not programming language. It's a markup. Okay. So there is no way that something would fail. It is just that your desired tag, if you're putting incorrect spelling, desired tag won't come up on the screen. So let's start with today's session. The most important topic of entire course, client server architecture. Okay. Is it possible to work with SAP UI5 without internet? Yes. If you use Web IDE Personal Edition, you can build and deploy it locally in your computer and it will work. Okay. As and when we will progress more in detail, we will learn more new things about it. So let us continue and discuss about the most important topic of today's session called client server architecture. What is client server architecture, guys? This is a world of internet and mobile apps. Everything is a client server architecture. Like in SAP, we have three-tier architecture: application layer, presentation layer, and database layer. Presentation is your client, nothing but SAP GUI. The application layer is your server, which has your application logic, your ABAP layer. And then finally, you have your database layer, which is holding all the data. In the client server architecture, you would have a client machine, and client here is nothing but browser or a mobile app. It could be a tablet, it could be desktop, it could be mobile. So you are having this as your client, and there are billions of clients on internet. Every system connected to internet is a client. And then on the other side you have a server. Always you will have a server. Server is storing all the files. Now take an example of facebook.com. What happens when you want to open your profile on facebook.com? From the client you send a request, okay, and you get a response. It's always, this is the most important thing, guys. It's always a request response architecture. You send a request, you get a response. You send a request, you get a response. You send a request, you get a response. Always remember, it is request and response architecture. Always. It's always request and response architecture. Okay. Always. This is the most important point of entire history of this course. If you forget this, you will never be able to understand and build Fiori apps. It's actually the very basics, very fundamental of internet. Request and response. You have a request, you have a response. You send a request, you get a response. This is called client server architecture. A request includes a header plus body. Similarly, a response contains also the response header plus body. A request could be of one of many types. Now, what is this request? Is this a telephone request? Is this a telephone request? No. It is called an HTTP request, Hypertext Transmission Protocol. Every request which you have is an HTTP request. It's a protocol which we all have to follow to be able to get response from any server. And that's why the server which you have on the right side is called web server. Why web server? Because this is capable of handling HTTP requests. Okay, that's why it's called web server, because it is capable of handling HTTP requests. So Facebook is an HTTP server. Okay, it's a web server or HTTP server. Gmail is a HTTP server. Google is an HTTP server. Yahoo is every company which you see today is having a web server, an HTTP server, where storing all the web pages which they have, all the HTML files, everything is stored on the server. From the client, you say facebook.com, a request goes to web server. The web server sends, what is that you're requesting? You're requesting facebook.com. The web server gives you an HTML file in return. The first Facebook page, HTML file it gives. And what happens when HTML file is received by browser? Browser understand HTML directly. So you show that, browser will show that HTML page to the user directly. So a web server is responding. In this case, the response is an HTML file. Clear, everybody? When you open facebook.com, the response is an HTML file, and this HTML file browser can understand directly, it displays it. That's called client server architecture. Now when it comes to this request, there are different varieties of request. Okay, there are different requests, there are different varieties of HTTP requests. Let's quickly understand these varieties. So one, we say type of request and the purpose of the request. So there is something called get request, post request, you have delete request, you have update request, you have merge request, you have purge request, lock, unlock. There are a variety of HTTP requests which we can send. The purpose of each request is different. A typical get request is used to just read the data from server. If you say I want get, which means your purpose is to read the data. If you say post, you want to create new data. If it is a delete, you want to delete the data. If it is update, you want to change the data. Please mute your line. Who's this? Please mute your line. Who's this? I request you to please mute your line. Madgiran, please mute your line. Thank you. Okay. The merge request is like read and update. It does both tasks. It reads for you and updates for you. This is called a merge request. So these are very few simple ones, but they are very powerful ones. The most used requests are these ones. There are more to it, but we are only interested right on them. So get, post, put and delete. Hope it is clear to everybody. Actually, update request is called put request, not update. It's called put request. It's for updating purpose. Get, post, put and delete. These are all the most top used requests in any kind of HTTP. So if you want to read Facebook homepage, you will send what type of request? Anybody? When you do facebook.com, what do you think? Which type of request it's going? Any guess? Which type of request it's going when you saying facebook.com? What do you think? Which type of request it's going when you're doing facebook.com? Perfect answer, Geeta. It is a get request. By default, every request is a get request. Okay. We will see how to check these requests also in detail in some time. Right now, not. So now remember, the client can only receive the data from server by sending a request. Now, what are all the techniques to send these requests? Okay. What are all the techniques to send? There are top 3 techniques which we typically use in a normal website development, I'm telling. The first technique is called form submit. This is used to send user credentials. Usually, okay. Form submit request. The second type of request is called HTTP requests using HTTP object in the browser. The third request, the third way of sending request is sending an AJAX call. AJAX stands for asynchronous Java and XML. So our purpose is here not to build websites. Our purpose is to understand this web architecture and HTTP architecture plus basics of HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. That's why I will just show you form submit just to showcase you how a request looks like, how can you send it. Okay, we'll see this one. But these two one we'll not look at because our purpose is to not create website here. Okay, but when it comes to UI5, we also do send these type of requests, but that we'll do with the OData model. So that I will show you when we'll reach to UI5, when your maturity level of develops little more, that time it makes more sense to showcase that to you. Okay, let us go ahead and see how to create. Yes, this is exactly called create, read, update and delete. It's called CRUD operation. So most of the time you do exactly that. So you either create data, you read data, you're updating data or deleting data. That's why it's called CRUD. CRUD stands for create, read, update and delete, right? That's why you might have heard people talking about CRUD operation, CRUD operation. That's exactly what it is. A CRUD operation, it means a client is capable of creating, reading, updating and deleting data on the server side from the request and response. And the type of request which you send is get, put, post and delete. These are the kind of requests which you send to be able to perform CRUD operations. That's why they are called operations. They are not called request. These are all the request type which you need to send to perform these type of operations. CRUD operation, create, read, update and delete. So let us go ahead and look at our next thing. So come back to our HTML page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quickly in another set of fields. So I'm going to create something called an input and label. So I'm going to say label and I'll say username and I'm going to say input and then I'm going to say label again. I can say password. Oops, sorry. Yeah, come back here and I say input and that's it. This is my user input label fields. Just put a page break, line break, sorry. After and before we're gonna put a line break. Save this. Let's come back and refresh the page. You're gonna see a nice beautiful input fields. Let's talk it hand to hand, side by side. And now you can just see there's a nice input field and password field. Let me enter some username. Oops, my password is visible. Point 1. We got to make it like asterisk character, right? That's what we do with passwords. We don't want to make it visible. So for that, come here in the input field. There is a property called type property and make it password type. Save this. Let's refresh. And now let's see. Wow, you see it's now writing an asterisk character for the password. It's no more password. So this is another feature which HTML5 give us. Lots of new types, variety of input fields were introduced with HTML5. Let me quickly show you them. So one is input. We can say type is equals to color. Yeah, you can say input type is equals to date. Then you can say input type is equals to number. With a minimum number I can say 1 or I can say 10, and maximum number I can also say 15. Yeah, that's another feature. So I'm going to take this up and save this. On the left, on the right, let's come back, and you see there's a nice color option available. You can choose a color from. Yeah, then you have a calendar, a beautiful calendar. You can choose the dates pretty easily using the calendar. Then on the right side you can see here the input field with the number. If I press upper and down arrow, you can see it's increasing the number. It's not going below 10 and it won't go above 15 because that's my number range I have given. That's a beautiful thing which HTML5 produces. So that's another difference. You can see all these types and documentation. Where can you see the documentation of all these input field types? Anybody, where can you see documentation? Perfect answer, Geeta. It's all on W3 Schools. W3 Schools has all the documentation about each of the tag and its properties. There are lots of them. Yeah, so you can go and check on W3C Schools, but you don't need to. Whatever I am teaching is more than enough. If you practice this much, it's more than enough. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. Now coming back, so this is my data, this is my input field. So that's another difference between HTML and HTML5. We got it. Lots of new input field types were introduced for user convenience with HTML5. That was another advantage of using HTML5. Lots of variety of input field types were introduced over here. Now let's create another input type called submit. Okay, you remember I just told you form submit to send a request to server. So I'm going to create an input. I'm going to give a type as submit for this. Watch out, watch out. This actually creates a button control. Okay, this actually creates a button control for us. Though it looks like input, but it's going to create a button control for us. Save this, come back on the right. You can see a nice button, submit button is popping up on your UI. But oops, when I click on this, it's not doing any action. It's not taking me to server. Anybody? It's not firing a request to server. What to do? Why this Colaveri D? Why the hell it's not taking me to any server? Because we have not given an action yet for submit. The way we give an action for submit is very easy. You have to add a form element. Just add a form element and put your input field inside the form. Okay, put all of them inside the form. Okay, I'm just going to do that. So I go and bring in all the things inside the form, and at the form level you just put action and put method. The method is the type of request you want. I want to send a get request. By default the request method is get. If you don't put method, it's by default get. And action, here you put your server URL. Which server you want to send a request. So I want to send a request to onlinefioritrainings.com. This is the website I want to fire request. It's a get request. I want to get something. I'm saying please get me something. And now before firing the request, you can put here the name of the input field. So it's mandatory. If you want to send some data to server from the form submit request, it's mandatory to give a name to the property. Okay, name to the input field. It's must to give name to the input field. Let's give that. So I'm going to give a name. Let's say USR name. It's your choice. You can decide. And for password also I want to give name. It's mandatory to give a name. PWD, something I want to give, I gave it. Okay, so I have created two input fields with some name. Now watch out what happens when you send a request. When you click on submit button, what system will do naturally for you? System is going to make a request to the server. Okay, it's gonna make a request to the server. The moment you hit this submit button, system is gonna call your server. Which server it will call? It will call your server, this one, this server it is gonna call. Yeah, onlinefioritrainings.com server it's gonna call. And whatever data you gave in input field which has a name associated, so these two input field, username and password has some name associated, that data will be added to the request automatically, and that data will be sent to the server onlinefiorytrainings.com. On the server, then I have some ABAP code or some Java code or some Node.js code. It could be any programming language server is implemented. Okay, and that particular code will read this information and accordingly logging you in or do whatever server side we want. Right now in my website, I don't handle any of these. So when you send a get request to my server with username password, I'm not doing anything actually. Okay, I'm not handling anything. That is the reason nothing will happen, but just you will see the page will change. You will also see the network call. Okay, what is network call? The another killer feature of F12. You can go to F12, you can right click and you can also choose inspect element. This is one more option to open F12 help. You can directly press F12 or you can right click and choose inspect. Okay, the moment you do inspect, you see in the DOM it is highlighting your element. It opened the DOM and it is highlighting your element in the DOM. That is what inspect does, is actually open F12 again. Now in this you see network call. So here you will find all the requests which are going from the client. Okay, all the requests which I was talking about, all the requests which are going from the client to the server, you can find that up over here in the network call. Watch out now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to first refresh. Yeah, and now I'll click on, so I give some name. I can say Anubhav. I can give my password demo 111, some demo password. And now watch out, I click on submit button. Let's see what happens. Click on submit, boom, there you go. Can you see the network call which server the client is making? All the calls, continuous calls which is it's doing now. You see there is a lot of call, and now you see guys, this is the call which we made. Can you see? Question mark username equal to Anubhav %, pwd equal to demo 111. That's a call. You see this is my name of the field equal to the value, name of the field equal to the value, and see on the top in the URL in the browser also, in the browser URL also, you can see those parameters are automatically added and my server was invoked. So my online Fiori training server was invoked with this password and username being passed to it. That's the beauty of it. You see the username password, it was invoked and it has passed these properties to it, and that's what it is doing. Clear everybody what has happened here? Are you all clear what has happened here? It has made a call to the server passing this use. This is how we make a request to the server. We made a request to the server, that, and you can check those requests in the network tab in your Chrome browser. Yeah, all the requests, but mandatory is you must give some name to your input fields to be able to include these things as parameter. But there is a security issue. The security issue is in the URL parameter, your password is visible. That's a security issue right now. Yeah, that's a security issue. How can we avoid it? So we should write in such a way that this password and username should not be visible in the URL parameter. So for doing that, change the request method type from get to post. Post is more secure. It doesn't show the username password as a URL parameter. Okay, it doesn't show as a URL parameter. So let's come back, refresh, and now watch out, watch out. I give some username again, I give some password, and now let's press F12 once again. It's going to make a call to the server, but watch out the URL parameter. I click on submit. You see it has made a call to the server. Yeah, but post request, so post request is not allowed on my server. In my server I am seeing, I am writing some code in my website, I've written some code, somebody cannot post something to my server. So that's why my server is returning forbidden. I don't allow a post request on my server, on my online FioriTrainings.com server. That's why it's saying forbidden. But if you come down, at least you can see the request data. You can see username and password. You can see the form data is being sent in the background. Over here you see this was my password, this was my username. It was sent over the network from the client but not visible in the URL parameter. So this is one more secure way of passing data to a server using post request. This is all basics of HTML5. Okay, This is all basics of client server architecture. What is request response? How to send a request? One of the technique we saw, where to see the requests which are going from the browser, from the client to the server. That is what my intention to show. We are not going to do form submit in UI5. That is not our job. We are not a website developer. We are a UI5 developer. So understand, this is just for your understanding, for explaining the client server architecture. How does a request looks like? How does a response looks like? What is the way to make a sample request call to showcase you? What is a get and post request? Get request to read the data, the whole purpose. Post request is to be able to send some data to the server and post it on server. Since my server doesn't support any post request right now, I have the server has given response as forbidden. Okay, so if you want to submit button other name, how can we make it? Okay, you want submit button as a login button name, so it's very easy. Come here and instead of input, just put login and end the input tag. And I think the label for this button will now change to login. Oops, it did not, which means there's something wrong. I think I have to check here the value property and I say login. Let me try this one. Refresh. Yes, there you go. The value property controls the label of this submit. So that value property I give and it has changed it to login button. Clear everybody? This is what was the question, Yamini. I think it answer your question, Yamini. Okay. So get call with parameter on URL. Sudeep is asking, can we see in F12? That's what we saw, Sudeep, already. All in F12, the request which is going from client and what parameters it is sending. We already saw that. Hope you like the form submit, understood the basics of how to look at a request which is going from browser, from the client, and what is a response. Remember, don't forget this picture. Take a print of this PPT and carry with you. This is going to be very helpful for you. Okay, take a print of this PPT. Client server architecture. We saw how to make a request with one of the technique, which is easiest one, form submit. A request went off, a server response came in. When I made a post request, my server doesn't have a code. So on the server, there is some code running. Okay, on server side there is some piece of code which is handling these requests. We are not yet talking about server side. We are only seeing from this perspective, from client perspective, what's going on. So there is definitely some code on server which is handling this request. So in server there is a get code for handling get request, there is a post code to handling post request, and it could be written in any programming language. It could be ABAP, it could be Node.js, it could be Java, it could be ASP, it could be JSP. So there are multiple languages on server side you can choose. You can use Java, you can use .NET, you can use Python, you can use ABAP, you can use Node.js. So there are multiple programming languages which you can choose from, whichever is your expertise area, to create this server. So in our case, what is the server side language? In our case, going forward, when we will learn UI5, what will be our server side programming language? Anybody? It will be ABAP programming on server side. When we will create, suppose in your company working with Fiori app, and you will be asked to fetch the data from Mara table, let's say. Yeah. So what will be your language? Your language will be ABAP to do that. Okay. However, I am offering different courses for Java also, for ABAP also, and for Node.js also. Per and Python and .NET right now I'm not offering any server-side coding, but server-side coding, if you want to do with Java, you want to do with ABAP and Node.js, I'm offering different courses for those things. We will see for ABAP, at least in this course, it's covered as part of the current course. Okay, you will be able to build an end-to-end SAP Fiori application towards the end of this course, which is fetching the real data from SAP ERP system. It could be a Mara, EKKO, EKPO, VBAC, VBAP, LFA1, KNA1, any table. It will fetch the data. Okay. We can build it. This is how we will be building, more generic, not specific to FI scenario, not specific to SD or MM. We will be doing a generic way so that you can learn and then you can implement in your expertise, your functional area, that particular functionality. That is what we will be doing. Okay, it will be more flexible way. Now you can choose which programming language you want. We are not right now looking at server side. We are only looking at this request. response architecture, and the client side. Client side we have HTML5 which we created. Okay, let's come back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another interesting tags in HTML. So you see guys, currently we are using BR tag. The BR tag is bringing a line break for you, correct? It's bringing a line break. You see everywhere I use BR. If I remove these BR, it looks very dirty. Everything comes into the current line. It just creates a linear line thing. You can see it looks very dirty. Yeah, everything is coming in a straight line, one after another. It looks dirty. So that is why we also, to beautify our page, to structure, give a structure to our page, we use block level elements. Most powerful topic, once again, important tags. In fact, there is impossible of any application till today. It is impossible. Any web application you open, every web application have these tags. They are called block level element. The first block level element is called div tag. The second block level element is called span tag. The span tag, the div tag stands for division tag. Okay, in interview they may ask you what is div tag. Division tag. Okay, span tag is called inline element. They are used to structure or create or give structure to the application. So first is div tag. Div tag is always starts the element from a new line. That's what div tag does. It always starts an element from a new line automatically. Okay, and it creates a block for you. The inline element, however, is used for wrapping. Okay, it's used for, like you see chocolate. You can eat a chocolate, but chocolate always comes in a wrapper. Along with the chocolate, you get the wrapper, right? So similarly, span element is used for wrapping purpose. You want to wrap an element inside a packet, you can do that with the help of span tag. Then you'll say, Anubhav, if it doesn't produce a new line, we can understand at least div tag is giving some help producing a new line, but span is not doing. What is the whole purpose? The whole purpose is wrapper. This wrapper is very helpful to apply the style. What is style? We will learn the styling in our next unit, which is CSS unit. Right now, just consider that this will be helpful for applying style. In fact, both the block level elements help you to apply style. That is the whole purpose of block elements. Okay, so let us see creating some div tags. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to just give some data to it. So let me create. So this username and username input field, I'm going to put it inside one block. So I create one block, division tag. This is one block I'm creating. Okay, this is my div tag. So I created div tag, I put it inside. Another block I create a div tag. I'm going to put my password label field input inside. That's my another div tag. And then I'm going to create another div tag. So I am just structuring my application properly. That is the whole purpose. We are structuring our application with the blocks, guys. Right? This is how you do in ABAP also. You create small subscreens, you create small areas, you make it look beautiful, right? You make it in proper blocks. So any block can be adjusted, removed and added. You see how beautiful it looks? Automatically every div element starts with a new line. Automatically. So that these are again your blocks. So you don't need BR tag anymore. Point one. Second point is there are different blocks now. Each block can have different identification. Okay, that's the beauty. Now guys, another funda fox about HTML. Every HTML element can have a unique identifier called ID. Yes, every HTML element you can add a unique identifier property called ID. Okay, every HTML element for grouping purpose can have an property called class property. Now don't confuse this class with object oriented class. This class stands for classification purpose. You're grouping the elements, okay? You're grouping the elements based on your need. So in this example, if you want to see, I can give a unique ID to my input field name, yeah? So name can be non-unique, but ID must be unique. Every HTML element must have a unique ID, okay? So I give an ID user. This will be helpful later on. Right now you will not see an advantage of adding that ID. You will say, Anubhav, what is the advantage? But right now just remember, every HTML element can have a unique ID. It is unique throughout the page. Other HTML element cannot have that ID. For example, let's say this input. You should never do that. It's a violation. It's a strict violation. You can never do that. So you see, already I've assigned an ID pwd to my password field. I should never ever do this assignment here. Never do that, guys. It's not recommended. It's a violation of HTML because ID is unique on one single page. On one single page for an HTML element, the ID must be unique. Okay, ID must be unique on one single page for an HTML element. Clear, everybody? So let's see some example. So we saw already an example for ID. Now what about class name, classification? So suppose I go on the top and I have here what is HTML. Similarly, let me create another H3 tag for what is CSS. Okay, so let me just create an H3 tag. What is CSS? I'm just going to say paragraph. CSS stands for cascading style sheet. It is used to format or beautify your HTML page. That's CSS. And then comes next another H3 tag. I'm going to say what is JavaScript, and I'll say paragraph. So I'm not explaining these things right now, just writing some abbreviation. JS stands for JavaScript. It is the browser programming language. End of paragraph. Let's save this up. We're going to see three blocks or three things. You can see three things over here. These are all your three blocks. So now if you want to properly construct them and look them like a block, you got to do it a little bit in a better way. Okay, let me just. Okay, save this. Let's refresh. So looks nice. So now you see there are three different elements, three different titles, and then these three different titles have an abbreviation which is explained in the description in the paragraph. So you look like, it looks like you can see there are three blocks actually. Yeah, that's how these three things looks like, right? So why don't we create some div element to proper structure these elements, right? Why don't we create a div element to structurize them? So let's do that. So I'm going to start with a div element, a division tag. I'm going to say this classification, or let's give classification later. So I'm going to say div tag. Inside the first div, I'm going to add another div, and inside that another div. So I'm creating a block. See, watch out. This is a block, guys. So how many total blocks I should have? Anybody? How many total blocks we have for this abbreviation? How many abbreviation I put? How many blocks do you think we would need for these three? How many blocks do you want me to create? Absolutely, there are three abbreviations, so we'll create three blocks. So let's create three similar blocks like that. And now what you're gonna do is this heading, first heading, you're gonna get in the first block, inside the sub block of the first block. This one you're gonna get inside another one. Likewise, you're gonna get it. But before we move on, let's also give a classification. So this classification for this is my main block. Yeah, you can call it as main block. Now in this main block you have a title block. Yeah, so you're just doing small blocks you're creating. This will be having great advantage. You will not understand that advantage today. You will understand in the next unit. Okay, when we'll reach to the CSS chapter that day, you will understand. Title block, and I can say description block. Like that, you can have different block classification. See guys, it's a classification. So now if you see the another block, it also looks ideal. Another block, it will also look ideal. So that's how the classification of the block is. Okay, so you have three elements like similar. Clear everyone? How we are structuring. This is all about structuring. It's all about writing code in a way that it looks beautiful. It is more structured. So now you see there are three blocks. Each block has a main block, and each block has a title block and a description block inside the main block. That's a structuring of your app. This is how we're doing. And class is nothing but your classification. You can also have a hyphen in the block. You can also say this is my main box. Yeah, you can call it as a box. Whatever you like, it's your choice. And then let's say this is my box hyphen title. Yeah, this is how typically in a web application they give. Anything you can give here, it's your choice. There's no boundary, no rule. Okay, now they can say box description. Yeah, this is my box description. Classification, just a classification I'm giving. Okay, it's not programming language, so it's nothing like variable declaration or something. You can just give whatever random you wish to, but structure it properly. And now I'm going to move this h3 tag over there, here, and this paragraph tag over there inside here. And now just going to move this h3 tag in the second block. There you go. And going to bring this description in the second block description. वो आ गया. उसके बाद में then we have this one. So you see nested HTML tag. Yesterday we learned nesting of HTML tag. That's exactly we're doing here. Nested HTML tag, your proper tree data structure. And I'm just going to run it. For user, it's no difference. User will still see the application absolutely same. For programming point of view, for a developer point of view, it's a big difference because now you have proper blocking done. You have structured your HTML content. So come back, I refresh, nothing happened here, but press F to look at the DOM. Look at the DOM, go back to elements, and now watch out your DOM. You see there are three boxes. When I take the focus on my first box, it's highlighting the first area. Can you see guys? When I take the focus over here, it's highlighting. When I take the focus over here, it was highlighting this particular area. This whole area it was highlighting. Why? Because that's the block representation. It's representing that whole block. The beauty now, I can hide this block. I can make this block visible. I can make this block blink. Any block I can control I want. And since all of three share the same classification, I can also control all three of them simultaneously because they all belongs to same class, same classification. Clear everyone? Now expand the block one. You see this as a title and a description. Extend the title and you see an h3 tag. Yeah, expand the box description, you have a paragraph tag in the first block. So watch out the DOM, very important guys. Every exercise you're doing, every code you're putting, please go and check the DOM. At least you understand the tree data structure, very important. This is the DOM. This is the DOM. We always work with DOM day and night. We work with DOM day and night. Our job as a UI developer is to work with the DOM. Day and night we work with DOM only. Okay, so you see this is how the classification looks like. Okay, coming back. So that was about the block level elements. Let's see the other elements. So HTML5 also introduced some more powerful elements. So let's see another element. So earlier in old days, what used to happen in past, that when HTML5 was not there, people used to create plugins. Do you remember the old days when you want to play a music on internet and your browser is popping you up some special pop-up asking, would you like to introduce or install this player? Would you like to add this player as a plugin, right? Old days of browser when it used to install some software in your browser to be able to play an audio, to be able to play an video. With HTML5, HTML5 brought the direct audio and video support. Yeah, flash player or something, right? Old days. So now it's not needed. HTML5 brings a direct audio and video support. That's another advantage of using HTML5 as compared to HTML. So direct support for audio and video tag. as tag itself. So you don't need extra players now as part of page. Not needed, direct support. Let me show you. I'll go back and show you creating an audio tag. And then we also add controls to showcase the audio control, like volume control, play, pause button, that should come. So that's my audio tag. Let's refresh. You see an audio tag comes. When I press play button, nothing is happening. Why, guys? Why nothing is happening when I press play button? Anybody? What do you think? Why nothing is happening when I press play button? The reason is very simple. You have not given which file to play. क्या प्ले करेगा? कुछ भी नहीं करेगा, right? So you got to give a file to play. So that file I already have it today. I've got some music from internet. I just searched from some MP3 files on internet. I created URLs here already for you guys. Let me copy this URL, come back and give here the source property of my audio tag. So I'm saying the source of the music is this one. I paste the URL, save this. Let's come back and refresh the page and watch out. You can see the play button, but still it's not loaded my music. You can see the time here is still 00, which means the file which I've used just now, the link which I've used is not correct. So let me use a different link. So maybe I use this one. Copy that. Let's come back and just use this one. So maybe that link is no more working. So just post this link, save this, come back on the right and refresh the page. And now let's see whether it loads or not, the particular link. So it's, I think, trying in. So maybe just check it up. I just click on play button. No, it's not working. That link also not working. Let me just refresh, be very sure. Maybe try running this as a pure HTML. So now I'm not trying to run this now from web ID. You all know that you can directly run an HTML file, right? You all can run it. So where do you find this project of web ID? Where it is stored? It's stored in your project. So let's go back to the installation directory where I've installed web IDE. So I go to my web IDE folder, and here in Eclipse you can go to workspace, AN, Anubhav 1, Orion content, and here inside this you will find that project. What was my project name? It was Basic October. So let me search for Basic October. Yes, here it is. You can see the file and you see this index HTML. You can also double click on this index HTML and it runs. You see it also runs here because browser understand HTML directly. This is another alternate way to run this. I think my music file which I've used, both of the files are currently not working. Let me try the last link which I've got it here. Copy that. So those links are not working actually. That's the reason. So I try this last link. Save it. Let's come back and refresh. Ideally it should load the time, guys. Here the time will come actually. So if the link is working, the time will come. So let me just go and search for a music on internet. So maybe none of the links are working, so I'm gonna say just search for a music on internet. So let me search for a song, Tu Bhula Jise, MP3 play audio, and you see there are some files on the internet. So don't go to Ghana.com, just search where you see a similar audio player will be displayed. Yes, here you see the similar audio player which is displaying it up. And now what I can do is I can just right click on this and say copy audio address. Okay, right click and say copy audio address, and let's come back and just place that address of audio here in my HTML tag. Save this. Let's refresh, and now let's click on play button. It's actually not playing, and that audio address itself is incorrect actually. So maybe it takes some time. Maybe I'll just try running this in Mozilla. Maybe my Chrome browser has some issue. I'll try to run this in Mozilla Firefox. Let me try running this in Mozilla Firefox. So it's actually not showing me the audio file. So it's just try to run this. So this is how you can get an audio tag. And if you click on play button, it should ideally run. Basically, it's fetching the file from internet runtime. It buffers it and it plays that music file for you. Naturally, it's gonna play. Okay, let me see if it's an issue with my Chrome browser. Yes guys, it was an issue with my Chrome browser. Something wrong with my Chrome. It's not showing time, but you see guys, in Mozilla it's showing 4 minutes 32 seconds. Yeah, let's click on play button and let's see what happens. So now I clicked on play button and I hope you all can hear the song. That's a direct support from HTML5 guys. Direct support, no direct plugins are required. It's a support from HTML5 for all the audio files. This is what HTML gives us. So it's running in my Mozilla. Let me try other audio files if it also runs, the links which I have. So I'm running another one. So let's see if it buffers up, if the link file is correct, the link is correct. No, that link is not correct, so it's not working. But at least one of them is working. So some problem with my Chrome, because of that it wasn't able to play the first one. But you can see this is a direct support of audio tag with HTML5, which was earlier not there, and you need third-party plugins to be able to play the audio files. Okay, and now not required because HTML5 directly supports it. Let's move on to the next one. What about the video tag? Video tag is similarly also provided. So I can come to video tag and let's give an SRC property for video and controls, of course. And now I got to get a URL. So let's get some video URL from W3C. Now some people, they are thinking, can we play a YouTube video using this? No guys, you can't play YouTube video with video tag. That's not allowed. I will show you for YouTube video there's another technique. Okay, so let me search for video tag in W3C schools and get some video URL. So I go to video tag and now I have a video here which is Big Buck Bunny video. I can right click and copy the video address, come back and paste this video address in SRC property, refresh, and you see the Big Buck Bunny video is now part of my website. I can play this up and you see, wow, beautiful. That's Big Buck Bunny video. It's playing right into my website. That's how you can integrate any video MP4 files as part of your website. What about YouTube video? We'll come to that. Just hold on your question on YouTube video. What is the way to integrate a YouTube video with your website? We'll see that in a minute. So that's about audio and video tag. Let's talk about the next tag, which is list control tag. First it comes is UL tag. Okay, UL stands for unordered list. Okay, UL stands for unordered list, and each list has a list item. So now you see I have an unordered list, and inside that I have a list item. So what I'm going to do is I create my list item as, let's say, apple, and then I'm going to say list item as banana. Then I have another list item as orange. So I have 3 list items inside the list which I've created. Yeah, so that's my list item. It's an unordered list. Let's refresh, see how does it look like. You see apple, banana and orange. It looks like an unordered list. Now you can also create an ordered list, absolutely same, but it's an OL tag, ordered list tag. And list item, I can say again apple, again I can say banana, list item is banana, and then I can say list item is orange. And let's come back and refresh, and you see the another list items with ordered 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's an ordered list. So unordered list and ordered list. But what about if you want multiple columns? So multi-column list is your table. So that's where we use table control, which is very easy as well. So let's use a table control. And inside this table control, what I'm going to do is a table always had a table header. If you remember the basic concept of internal table in ABAP, internal table has a header line and a body. The old days when we used to learn ABAP, this was what was taught to us. A table always had a header and a body. So table header, T head and T body tag. Inside the table header, we have just one header record, and then we have table headings, TH tag, table headings. So I'm going to create a table. Let's say I want to create a table with fruits, fruit benefits. So name of the fruit, and I'm going to say table header with the fruit, maybe fruit color, and maybe I want to create table heading. The third column I'm creating is fruit price. Yeah, so three columns I've created in table header as part of table heading row. So let's collapse it. So that's my table header. Let's come to the body, and I want to create maybe 2 records. So I can say first record TR tag. For every table column you have a table data, table cell. So you see TD tag. So I'm going to use TD tag. And now inside the TD tag we're going to add the data here. So let me just add the data. So first column was my fruit name, let's say orange. The color is itself orange, and the price is, let's say, 80 INR per kg. Yeah, let's add another table record. So I'm going to add another table record. So let's add another table record, TR tag, and now I will add another table cell, and then we will have in this, let's say, banana, and then we're going to add another table record, table data, and I'll say it's yellow, and then I'm going to say table data with some price, let's say 50 INR. Yeah, I save this. So I have added a table. A table has a table header, it has a table heading, and this table heading has 3 columns. For each of the column, now you got to give records, and each record have 3 column data correspondingly. If you want to draw this as a picture, it's very easy to draw this. You can come and draw a table. Very easy to understand. This whole table is your table tag. Yeah, this whole table is your table tag, and then in this table tag you have a table header, you have a table body. So let me just draw this up. Now you have a table header, you have a table body. So this is your T head, and this is your T body, and then each record is TR tag. Yeah, each record is TR tag here, table row, and table heading has table heading records. So it has TH, your cells. When it comes to table rows, you have TR, and actual data is represented table data, TD tag. All are TD tags. I hope it is clear now how a table is designed in HTML5. Clear everybody? Any questions on table? Yeah, easy one. So you have table header, table body. Table header has table row, which is table headings, and table body has table records, which has table data. Let's save this up, and that's exactly we did here. As a result of that, you're going to see a beautiful table coming down. There you go. You see name, color, price, orange 80 INR, banana yellow 50 INR. The question comes, Anubhav, why doesn't look like a table? Why there are no horizontal and vertical lines here? That is something which HTML doesn't do. HTML is only for creating static web content. Remember, it's only used for creating static web content. That's where the CSS, which is our next unit, comes into picture. When we'll reach to CSS, that time we will understand how to utilize CSS to be able to prettify. Right now you see there is no coloring, no alignment, no coloring, no width control, no height control, no background color, yeah, no borders, nothing. It looks very dirty, it looks very crude, very raw. It should be beautiful. How can you make beautiful? The life of HTML is beautiful because of CSS. That's what we're going to see in the next unit. Before we end, let's talk about our last, not the least important tag. It's called iframe tag. What is an iframe tag? An iframe tag is actually used to embed each another HTML as part of one HTML. So iframe tag. Okay, iframe tag. What is an iframe tag? Used to add another HTML document inside an HTML document. That's what an iframe tag is capable of doing. So let us go ahead and see how can that be achieved. So I can come back. So suppose I want to embed my website as part of this demo website which we are creating, yeah, this HTML page we are creating. So very simple, iframe tag. You can give a width and height for the iframe tag. So I want to give a width at, let's say, 100%. I want to give as height, let's say 900 pixels. And now you can come and put a property called href property and put in here http online fiori trainings.com. Any website address which supports embedding in HTML, we can put that here. Okay, iframe means we want to embed in another HTML document here. Okay, in WebDintro also actually we have this concept. Behind the scene it is generating an iframe tag as an HTML because browser only understand HTML. So in WebDintro, when you drag and drop an iframe in your view, it's actually the equivalent HTML which it produces in browser is an iframe. Save this. Let's come back and refresh. Scroll down and voila, you see it's creating up iframe. You can see this gray color border, little bit gray color border. That is indicating that we have an iframe here. Yeah, that's the indication we have an iframe. But oops, it doesn't show up my website. Something went wrong. Maybe you just have to say onlinefioritrainings.com. That's it. Let's come back and refresh. And you will see in a second because I have allowed iframe option X on my website. Some websites do allow themselves to be embedded in iframe. Some websites do not allow. I have allowed my website to be embedded as part of iframe. So my website should give a response to this iframe and be able to send the complete HTML code over there. It's still not showing. Maybe just have to put, try this out, www, and let's refresh. Still not coming up. What is the reason? Maybe something is wrong. onlinefioritrainings.com. I got it, guys. It's not href property, it is src property. I'm so sorry. It is src property. Let's come back and refresh. And now you see something is still moving. It's trying to load up and there you go. You can see whole website of mine is getting loaded inside the iframe. This is how you guys can integrate all your social networking account, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, everything on a single web page. Create 4 iframes. Each iframe you add your Facebook, your Twitter, your all the handles, social media handles in your single website. Yeah, that's the beauty you can use with the iframe. Complete HTML document can be displayed and another HTML document has come in. My website is also in HTML. Ultimately everything is in HTML. Browser only and only understand HTML. It has got my HTML. It is displaying that HTML in this iframe. Now coming to YouTube. How can you embed a YouTube video? Very easy. Go to any YouTube video, right click on YouTube video and choose copy embed code. Again, I repeat, go to any YouTube video on YouTube or anywhere wherever there is a YouTube video, right click and choose copy embed code. Yeah, choose copy embed code, copy embed code, and now can come back and just see. I just paste that code which I copied and voila, can you see what it produced? It produced an iframe tag. YouTube videos are embedded with the help of iframe tag. So you have added an iframe. The system has created a copy of iframe. The frame size is same as the video size. What size of screen you want for that YouTube video. the YouTube video URL slash embed is added in the middle in the URL. You see youtube.com/embed and the video link. Okay, and then these are all frame border, allow, what to allow, autoplay is allowed or not, full screen is allowed or not, picture is allowed or not, allow full screen or not. These are some options to YouTube which are added here. You can ignore them, no problem, completely remove them. Just it's enough to have a width height property along with the source, which is the YouTube video link. That's how YouTube video can be embedded to part of your website pretty easily. Save this, let me come back, refresh my page, and voila, you can see the YouTube video is now embedded as part of my website. Likewise, if you have some important YouTube videos which you would like to collate it together on a single web page, you can actually right click, copy embed code, and just add all those iframes on your single page. Yeah, this is how you can actually do it, guys. Very amazing feature. That's the beauty of using iframe, guys. Clear, everybody? This is about iframe tag. So with that, we are done with creating HTML. In last 2 sessions, we learned a lot. More than enough if you practice all these tags. Okay, more than enough. If you practice all these tags is more than enough. You don't have to go to W3C schools, don't have to do extra. If this much you can practice, it is more than sufficient. More than sufficient for HTML. Hope you enjoyed last 2 classes. Let's time for an exercise. Design a list with all the important technical topics like ABAP, WebDin Pro, UI5, or let's forget about WebDin Pro, is outdated technology. Talk about UI5, Launchpad, and then maybe ABAP, UI5, Launchpad, and let's say ABAP on HANA. So 4 items as part of your list: ABAP, UI5, Launchpad, and ABAP on HANA. You got to design a list with this, and each item is clickable. Okay, make each item clickable, and when we click, it should take me to YouTube video. It should take you, it should not launch YouTube video. It should take you to YouTube website, and where the YouTube video is, it should take you there, guys. Okay, how do you do that? Where you find all the YouTube video for these trainings? You can go to my channel, on my YouTube channel. So go to my YouTube channel. I'll give you the link of my YouTube channel. And here on this YouTube channel, you will find all the links over there. So just go to YouTube channel, go to my channel. On the playlist of my channel, you'll find playlists. Okay, you see lots of videos are there. So this is the link. You go, take any video. Yeah. So go inside Fiori, right click on this and say copy video URL. Okay, this is an advertise coming. Just have to skip this advertise. Okay, now right click and say copy video URL. The video URL will be copied, and create an anchor. Anchor should be wrapped around a list item. Yeah, you all know that. You are all smart now by now. Just create that list control inside the list 4 topics, and it should take you to the video of one of the video on this channel. You can, for each of the technology. Clear, everybody? That's an exercise for all of you. Exercise number 2 of our course. Let's see how many of you can complete and submit that exercise. This time I would expect your project. So please download your project, share your project using Google Drive with me. I will check it. And a screenshot will also be good. Those who cannot send the project by downloading and uploading to Google Drive, your Google Drive, you can also send me a screenshot. Anubhav, let's see, these are 4 links. Each link, when you click, it's navigating you to the YouTube video of the topic. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Let's see how many of you can complete this exercise. And then the second exercise. So this was exercise number 1. Hold on, we have 2 exercises. We have learned a lot today. So 2 exercises. The second exercise, design a music table. Okay, design a music table. with 3 columns. Song name, your favorite song, artist name, and play now, say rock on column. Yeah, in this rock on column has an audio tag which when click play an audio for that song. Now guys, one catch here, on many websites you'll find songs, but the URL which you copy from those websites may not work. You saw in today's session there were some URLs which I was having, none of the URLs are working. So it's very difficult. So it's okay, you can skip that part. It is not necessary that your song must play, but at least just remember you can try get at least one song working and use the same song in all the columns, all the rows. Yeah, so you can go to Google, search for a song, let's say Tu Bula Jise MP3 play audio, and just search for a website which is offering it. Like this, you see paglaworld.com, they are actually offering it. So you go inside this and you see this kind of audio tag over there. Right click and say copy audio address. This works. Okay, this works. You can also search on the same website some other songs. So I can go back and Bollywood MP3, and I can go to any of the movie. Yeah, so any of the movie I can go, and maybe I just go inside and I can then just play one of the songs. So I can say Jagumia, that's my favorite one, and now you see the URL here. Right click here, copy audio address, and let's play Jagumia. So let's come down and I'm gonna add a, it's fun, man, it's working fun with HTML5. So just add the audio tag, SRC. You will be proud on yourself after completing this exercise. And then of course I need controls so that it can show me the controls for play and pause and audio control. Can come back to my website and press enter. It's gonna get another audio tag. There you go, that's another audio tag, and all we know that doesn't work in my Chrome, some problem in my Chrome. I'm gonna run this in the Mozilla Firefox, so just to test it. Yeah, not now. And yeah, there I have all the songs actually, and just play this up. And just, it's buffering up still.
Course, we will be building this on top of a CDS view exposed OData service with UI annotation.
Okay, some video started from my website actually here.
And then
okay, cool, you can see that's the beauty of HTML5, guys. Superb, you will enjoy this for sure. Whatever is your best favorite song, you can include that as part of your HTML website. Thanks to HTML5 for providing direct support for HTML5 and audio tags. Any questions before we close today's session? Anybody? Hope you liked it, especially the audio video tag. What an amazing feature. YouTube video. Anyone? Any questions? Any questions before we close? Let me stop. You guys are enjoying the song. Wait, I paused it. Let's go to the questions. Any questions? Anyone? Ordered list and unordered list. Okay, ordered list is OL tag and unordered list is UL tag. You see the difference? Unordered list comes like with bubbles, like this, bullets. Ordered list comes with numbers. You can see 1, 2, 3. That's the only difference between ordered list and unordered list. No other difference. It's very easy. HTML, you know guys, even college students are doing HTML. You are professional, you are engineer, you have industry experience. You can do better than them. Even college student does HTML very well. Yeah. So for exercise, any list you can choose. If you want ordered list, you can do that. If you want unordered list, you can do that. It's your choice. Your choice. No foundation. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hi Anubhav, Deepak this side.
Hey Deepak.
Yeah, when you perform the get action, I saw in network tab there were two calls for the in the network action for get form.
Mhm.
So can you explain why there were two calls?
I think I by mistake clicked 2 times. Okay, let's see.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I click on some data.
Hello,
One second.
Anubhav Yamni
This
here.
is only one call now going. See, Deepak, only one call is
Yeah,
going.
but I think this is a post call, right?
Yeah.
When you perform the gate call.
I think in the get call, what happened is the first get call gets something from website, and that JavaScript which is loading from my website is making another call automatically. Maybe let's try that up. So I'm going to change the method back to the get. So I'm just going to get. Even I observed that. So that is something because of the functionality, the way my website is sensing the get call. Just going to refresh. So every time we need to use form for any get post call, no Sudeep, we should not use form for get post call. We will use OData model object in SAP UI5. We will not use form submit. Form submit is a technique for people who are doing website development. Our job here is to not do website development, Sudeep. We will not do form submit in our course. Okay, we will work with OData services when it comes to productive consumption, and that is the time we'll see. Okay, why the body content is not print? I did not get Umair your question. Can you please unmute your line? Okay, now let's first see this. You see hundreds of get call because lots of iframe I have. It's making so many calls from my client because I have lots of iframe, and I say login, and yes, you are right. You see there are two get calls. So one is this one and second one is this one. Okay, actually it's not two get calls. You see, it is a redirection. When I'm making a call to my website, what is happening is my website is redirecting that call to some other place. Okay, so you see moved permanently. It made a get call, and on my website there is some redirection logic. That server side logic you will not understand here. So I am doing some redirection. So it does a redirection using proxy servlet, and that proxy servlet is redirecting it. It's telling client to redirect. So that's why it says please redirect. It gives the new path to redirect, and then the client is again making another call, which is now success. You see, get is success.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
That's why it
fine,
call.
fine.
It's because of
Yeah,
redirection. There's a redirection
yeah, yeah.
concept on
I
server
got because of proxy, it is having the
because of
two
proxy.
calls, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, why body content is not print? I still did not get that question, Umair. Pawan has a question. Control property, we are not giving any input. What is the default? Which control property? Okay, control property. It's just itself control equals to true. Either you write like this controls, or you can write controls equals to true. It's your choice. It's just a easy way. HTML5, as I told you, more liberal in nature. So you can also like this control equals to true. That is how you can do. The easy way is just writing controls, because the moment you put it, system understands it's equals to true. Okay. Okay, Pawan. So you can also do that. No problem. But it's just an easy way. HTML5 understand this also. So getting error, Java is not recognized as an internal external command. So Yamini, this error is coming because your JDK is not installed properly. Okay, let's see your screen, Yamini. Please share your screen. Please unmute your line, share your screen. Let's see the issue. So I switch to Yamini system. I'm giving you presenter rights. It'll give you a request to download something, Yamini. Just click on download.
Okay.
It'll give you a download pop-up. Download and switch to desktop, continue something it'll give. Switch to opener, go to meeting opener. It'll give you that pop-up. Just select that. I hope others are able to install web IDE. Especially Mac users, if you're facing issues, please use WebID full stack. You can practice everything which I'm covering here exactly same way in the WebID full stack also. Yamini, please share your screen.
Yeah, Anubhav, do I need to click on switch desktop or open
Yes,
store?
switch to desktop. Correct. Switch desktop version.
Yeah, I think it's getting download.
Yeah, that's okay. Any other questions on audio line? Anybody? Please unmute your
Yeah,
line.
hi Anubhav.
Please.
Anubhav. Hello.
Yes, please.
Anubhav, while I am printing that body content, that is not printing, that only it's go to web page, and whatever I am writing in the body part, that is not getting print. So what is the issue there?
So whatever you're writing in the body of HTML is not getting print, Umair, for you?
Yes, yes, yes.
We can see your screen after Yamini finishes. We will also
Okay, sure.
see your screen. So let me also give you presenter right. In the meantime, you also finish downloading the GoToMeeting
Okay.
tool to be able to share your screen. Okay, just 1 second. You will get now a download request from GTM. You just have to say download and switch to desktop. Yamini, are you ready?
Yeah, it's connecting to GoToMeeting. It's in process.
So Umair, hope you also downloading the tool which it is asking you.
1 second. I didn't get that request.
Now see, you must have got a presenter request. Share your screen. So guys, this is something like doubt clarification part. If you guys want to see what others are facing the problem and learn from that, you can stay in the call. If you guys are getting late to office, you can also leave. Anyway, I'm recording this. This will be also available later point of time. So those who want to leave, they can, because maybe you are rushing towards your office. It's morning in India, so it must be late. Those who are in US, relax and enjoy the show. Umair, are you able to share your screen? Cannot hear you, Umair. Okay, 11 p.m. for you. Fine, then enjoy. Okay, Yamini, back to you. Presenter mode. Just see if you can share, Yamini, your screen. I cannot hear both of them.
Hello.
Yeah, Umair.
So I'm not getting that request. Could you please once?
Okay, let me give again. Yamini, are you there online?
Yes, I'm getting. Just scroll. It's a need to add to extension like this.
Yes, add to extension. And there is a pop-up also, pop-up blocker, which may block your extension pop-up to come. On the top right corner in the browser, you may get a pop-up blocker. Just enable. Yes, now we can see your screen, Umair. Go ahead and share. What is the issue?
Okay. So simple. I just did this one.
Run it.
While I'm running this one, see,
I told you yesterday the run configuration. Just check the URL on the top. What is the URL you are running? Index.html you are running. You are not running umair.html. Your project has 3 files. 2 files, index.html and umair.html. You have to go to run configuration. Right click on project.
There only, right?
Right click on project. Project folder. Basic October folder.
Okay.
Project folder, run configuration. Yesterday I taught you this towards the end of the class. Did you watch the
Yes,
video
yes.
again?
Run configuration, okay.
Go to run configuration, select run index HTML
Yeah.
configuration. That's a run configuration. And now can you see the
Okay,
file
then
selected here is index HTML. So it's running always index HTML file, not your Umair HTML file. You got to run Umair HTML file. Select the drop down. Select Umair
so I
HTML.
have to select.
Yes.
Okay.
Even run. Now it will run your correct.
Now okay, right?
Yes. Now run. Very basic stuff.
Okay.
Yesterday I showed this in the class. You did not pay attention.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay, Yamini, over to you. Yamini, can you hear us? Hello, Yamini. Yeah, go ahead. You have put first space Java version. Can you please type again Java space hyphen version? Why are you putting a space before this? Yeah, don't put a space. Not Java underscore version, Yamini. You have to put Java space hyphen version. Why are you putting underscore? Okay, it's not recognized, which means JDK is not installed in your system. Please install JDK.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Please install JDK in your system and after that you will be able to work with it. Okay, great. Thank you so much everyone. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Goodbye.